There is this moment, I think almost everyone has it at some point, where the ground just disappears. Not slowly, not with warning, just gone. One ordinary morning, one careless step, and suddenly you are falling into something dark you never saw coming. The walls are too close, and the sky above you is shrinking into this tiny, retreating circle of light. I want to tell you a story today. It is an old one, simple on the surface, the way most real wisdom, simple on the surface. But I have sat with this one for a long time, way longer than I expected to, and I think it holds something most people completely miss when they first hear it, something that took me years to actually get. And when I finally got it, something shifted, quietly, in how I see pretty much everything. So let us start where all the best stories start. Ordinary field, ordinary day. There is a farmer, not wealthy, not famous, just a guy with a small piece of land and one old donkey who had worked beside him for years. The donkey was aging now, slower, a little gray around the muzzle, but still showing up, still loyal, the way loyal things do. And then one afternoon, the donkey fell into a well. No ceremony, no warning, just fell. And the animal cried for hours while the farmer stood there trying to figure out what to do. The farmer walked to the edge and looked down. The old donkey was far below, legs scrambling, eyes wide, making this sound that was not really a sound anymore. It was more like raw desperation, the sound of a living thing that has ended up somewhere it was never meant to be. And the farmer just stood there for a long time. Finally, he decided the donkey was old, the well needed covering anyway, and it just was not worth the effort. So he called his neighbors over. They grabbed shovels and started filling the well with dirt. I want you to sit with that for a second, not to judge the farmer. This is not a simple villain story, but really feel what that moment is. Here is a creature who served, who worked, who gave everything it had, and the people above have quietly decided that getting it back is too much trouble. It is more practical to just bury it and move on. Have you ever been in a place where the people above you made that same decision? Where they were not even cruel about it. They were just practical, tired, done. And you were at the bottom of something cold and dark, and the dirt was already starting to fall. At first, the donkey cried horribly, and then, to everyone's amazement, it went quiet. That silence. I keep coming back to that silence, because when I first heard this story, I assumed the silence meant surrender. I assumed the donkey had gone still, the way things go still when they give up. But that is not what happened. And this is the part most people miss. The donkey did not go quiet because it accepted death. Something inside it made a decision that nobody on the surface could see. Every time a shovel of dirt hit its back, the donkey would shake it off and step up, shake it off, step up. That is the whole story, honestly. Not the beginning, not the ending. Those 4 words in the middle. Because what happened between the crying and the silence was not defeat, it was transformation. Each load of dirt, the donkey shook it off and stepped up, again and again, until, and I still find this kind of stunning, the donkey stepped up over the edge of the well and trotted off. The thing that was meant to bury him became the ground he stood on. Let that actually land. Every single load of dirt, every dismissal, every moment where someone decided he was not worth saving. He did not let it press him down. He shook it free and used it to rise. The weight of what was being done to him became the mechanism of his escape, which is wild when you think about it. Because here is the thing. When the dirt starts falling, most of us do one of 2 things. We either fight it frantically, thrashing against something we cannot stop, or we just let it cover us. Decide that being buried is our destiny now. What the donkey figured out, alone, in the dark, with no one watching and no one helping, is that there is a third way. Feel the weight, acknowledge it is heavy, and then, quietly, without drama, shake it off and take 1 step up, not 10 steps. Not a leap, 1 step, then 1 more. Seneca wrote, "Fire is the test of gold, adversity of strong men." And what gets me about that is not the boldness of it, it is the precision. Fire does not destroy gold, it reveals it, burns away everything that was never gold to begin with. What is left is what was always there. The suffering does not create the strength, it reveals it. But here is where I think we get it wrong almost every time we hear something like this. We treat it as instruction. We think, okay, so I just need to be more resilient, shake things off faster, stop complaining, start stepping. And we turn it into this demand, a performance of endurance instead of actual transformation. That is not what happened to the donkey. The donkey did not decide to be resilient, did not read a book on mindset. The donkey just stopped letting what was falling on it define where it would end up. And that is a different thing, a really different thing. We cannot rewrite the past, but we can rewrite our relationship to it. Pain becomes wisdom when you extract the teaching, not when you pretend the dirt was never dirt, not when you perform gratitude for the pain. The extraction, the quiet, uncomfortable work of asking, what does this have to teach me? What has this cracked open that was closed before? There is this space between the pain and the wisdom, this in-between place where nothing is resolved yet. The cocoon phase, where everything dissolves so it can be rearranged into something new. I think the donkey's silence was that cocoon. In the dark, alone, dirt coming down, and the donkey just chose, not knowing what would happen. No guarantee, just choosing the next step before being able to see the one after it. That silence was not emptiness. It was the sound of someone deciding who they were going to be. There is a Buddhist teaching I keep coming back to. It goes like this: I have already been hit by one arrow. I am not going to thrust a second one into the wound. When we ruminate, stew in anger, spiral into self-pity, we are plunging a second arrow into ourselves. The further suffering is optional. The donkey refused the second arrow. Every time the dirt fell and got shaken off, that was the refusal. The refusal to say, this is permanent, this is who I am now, this is where I will always be. The dirt was the first arrow. The only way it becomes fatal is if you lie down under it and add your own despair on top. And look, researchers have actually confirmed what ancient storytellers already knew. A post-traumatic growth model shows that in the aftermath of real trauma, a positive outlook can genuinely emerge. They did not discover this. They confirmed it. The people who passed this parable around fires and in temples and in small rooms full of people who needed to hear it, they already knew that falling into the well is not the end of the story. But here is the piece I do not want to rush past, because I think it is the most important one. Nobody helped the donkey. Farmer looked down, felt bad, and decided neither the donkey nor the well was worth the trouble. The neighbors showed up, not to help, but to shovel. They were not monsters, just people who decided this problem was not worth their effort. And if we are being honest, most of us have been the donkey in some version of some well, with people looking down and deciding we are not worth the rescue. The devastating part is not the cruelty. It is the temptation to agree with them, to look up at the people with their shovels and their certainty and think, maybe they are right. Maybe I am too old, too broken, too far down. Maybe the reasonable thing is to just accept what is falling. For years, a lot of us try to outrun our wounds, chase achievement, productivity, perfection, keep moving fast enough so the pain cannot catch us. But the donkey could not outrun anything, nowhere to go, walls too close. And in that forced stillness, in the total absence of escape, something extraordinary became possible. The donkey discovered it could use the very thing destroying it to save itself. Rumi wrote in the 13th century, "The wound is the place where the light enters you, not despite the wound. Through it, the light does not find you after you have healed. It enters through the opening the wound creates." That is not a pretty metaphor to make pain feel nicer than it is. That is a precise and difficult truth about how transformation actually works. The wound has to be open for the light to get in. The falling has to happen for the rising to be possible. And the dirt everyone assumed would bury you, turns out to be the thing you were always meant to stand on. I have thought about this story for a long time, and I keep landing on one question. Not about the donkey or the farmer, about that moment of silence, the moment between the crying and the stepping up. What happened inside the donkey then? We will never know, obviously. Stories like this do not show us the inside. They show us what is visible, the crying, the silence, the rising. But my reading, for whatever it is worth, is that the donkey made peace with its situation before it changed its situation. Not acceptance of being buried, not resignation, but acceptance of right now. This is where I am. This is what is falling. I cannot stop it from falling, but I can decide what I do with it when it lands. That is really the whole teaching. You cannot always stop what falls on you. You did not choose your wound. You did not ask to be in the well, but the moment when the dirt hits your back, that moment is yours. It has always been yours. And in that moment, you have the same choice the donkey made in the dark. Shake it off. Step up, not because it is easy, not because the dirt is light, but because the alternative is letting it cover you. And you are not made to be covered. When wounds stop being open cuts and become scars, they turn into maps, evidence of where you have been, proof of what you survived, reminders of strength you did not even know you had until you needed it. That is what the donkey carried out of the well, not the absence of weight, not some dirt-free fresh start, but new ground beneath its feet, built from everything that was thrown at it, every loss, every dismissal, every shovelful of what the world decided was enough to finish it. A donkey walked out of that well standing on its own history, and so can you, whatever well you are in right now, whatever is falling, whatever voices are up top saying it is not worth the trouble. The silence before the rising is not defeat. It is the moment of decision, the cocoon, the gold in the fire, the wound opening so the light can get in. You have been in wells before. You have felt the walls close in, and the sky shrink down to nothing, and here you are. Still here, still listening. That is not nothing. That is evidence the donkey's teaching was already alive in you before you ever heard the story. Shake it off. Step up. One step. That is all. The rest will follow.